As the world grapples with the coronavirus, questions about epidemic preparedness have also taken center stage.
Public-private partnerships are also needed to ensure that the country effectively battles health emergencies like COVID-19.
All right, joining us now to talk about COVID-19 and public health emergency operations is the Executive Director, Health Emergency Initiative, Pascal Achinine. It's nice to have you join us.
It's my pleasure. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Now, you saw in that report where they were reading out some statistics there. Yes. There are local governments that have never gotten tested in some of the states. In about 20 states, 85 local governments have not even gotten or reported any case at all. And people are traveling here and there. We cannot categorically say that there are no cases in those local governments. Now, what does that bring to you if you have to look at all of those things that we're talking about for the PTF?
So from the standpoint of management of the situation, the reports also say that the 290 infected persons is the second lowest in the last 60 days or thereabouts. So which meant that when we say that the curve is beginning to flatten, is not 100% certain because some areas have not been reached. But what I can see is that substantially, if you look at the history and the trend of the COVID-19, you clearly see that in 2 weeks, it would manifest, even if you are asymptomatic. So we can substantially say that significantly there has been some mileage covered. Those locations may just be pockets of infections if there are. So even though 85 local governments out of 774 local governments in Nigeria have not been tested, so we can see that more local governments have been tested and there have been some mileage, some improvement in the way the process is.
Even if there are pockets of local government areas, doesn't it generate some concern? Because like he mentioned, we have released or relaxed some of, the COVID-19 protocols. Now people can move around, and doesn't that generate some concern, knowing the way and manner that the virus spreads?
So it is expedient that the leadership across various tiers of government do not lower the guard at this stage.
How do you mean?
Enlightenment, engagement, mobilization, all the protocols that were deployed at the beginning need to even be reinforced. This is the best time to do it because it may look like we have 290 people today infected. We have seen in many parts of the world where the second wave has come. So the second wave may potentially come from such 85 local governments or even the existing places where this has been discovered in large numbers. So it's important that the process of testing would cover all. But even what we've been doing, we need to reinforce it to make sure that the second wave doesn't hit us unprepared.
There are concerns being raised by the federal government, and it has to do with the attitude of Nigerians towards the protocols put in place. I wonder what concerns you have, because from the concerns raised, the statement there is that Nigerians may regret if they do not adhere to the protocols in place. So what concerns do you have with the attitude of Nigerians and how we have been able to manage the pandemic so far?
So back in March, when this pandemic got here, many thought it was a scam. And the sad reality is that many still think it's a scam. But we have seen that fatalities have taken place here, including the VIPs have died. But across the divide, if you go to the motor parks, if you go to the markets, if you see wherever people gather, you still figure out that there's no proper attention to the protocols stipulated by the government. And maybe God has shown mercy on one side, but we must cooperate with it because back in 5 months ago, people thought that the streets of Lagos, the streets of Nigeria will be littered with dead bodies. That has not happened, but that does not mean that as Nigerians, we continue to live as we like. So my position is government must continue to enforce and be vigilant. It cannot just leave it to Nigerians to regret. So we have committed the social contract to the government to provide leadership. So government must engage extensively across various stakeholders. Some may be formal, some may be informal. And government can enlist the support of opinion leaders, both in the business sector, those in the private sector, those in the social sector, and civil society leaders. Because if we continue to treat some of this with kid gloves, the second wave, when it hits us, it will be very catastrophic.
All right. Thank you very much, Pascal Achunine, for your insight on this.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.